Hi again. Today we're talking about trait and type approach. Before we start, you wanna see something cool? See this tan line? Yeah, I got this from playing football in Sangathan, our sports meet. I played one match. This is what I got. Nice, right? Trait and type. What are these? Well, in psychology, there are several theories on how to understand our personality and how to change it for the better. And let me tell you, understanding personality has been one of the hardest and the most controversial topic in psychology. So many psychologists and theorists and philosophers have given theories for personality, but still, there is no one best theory which is unanimously accepted by the whole psychology community. There is none. Each theory finds its supporters and critics. Right now I'm just studying all those personality theories which are part of my MA counseling psychology degree. In a few years I'll actually be coming up with my own personality theory. I'm already working on it, but it's a behemoth task. There is so much to think that it's actually going to take years. Anyway, among those theories which I'm studying, which are already out there, now I will talk about two popular theories: personality types and personality traits. These two sometimes cause some confusion, so I'll clear it up today. I have a very, very simple and interesting example to explain what those two theories are and what's the difference. Okay? This is the trait approach. So, in this example, I have taken 6 Bollywood personalities. These are their names: Amir Khan, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Vivek Oberoi, Irfan Khan, Salman Khan, Tushar Kapoor. The whole variety. And these are the 3 traits. Traits, acting, looks, and then box office power. Acting, you know what that means. Looks, you know what it means. Box office power essentially means that even if the movie sucks, people will still watch him because of the star power. Okay? Box office power is another word for star power. And finally, this is the scale from 0 to 10, and I will be rating all 6 of these on these 3 dimensions or these 3 traits. Let's begin with Amir Khan. So Amir Khan, I've already rated them for this purpose. Now these are my ratings. Of course, everyone will have their own different ratings. That's not an issue. The issue is to understand what the trait approach is. Okay. So Amir Khan, 7 in acting, 7 in looks, and 9 in box office power. Yeah, his PK, 3 Idiots. Second, we come to Nawazuddin Siddiqui. So Nawazuddin Siddiqui, for me, the best actor in the industry. So I've rated him 9.5 for acting, so 3 for looks, and box office power is average, I would say. So 5 for that. Next, we come to Vivek Oberoi. I've rated him 3 for acting. Looks, he looks good actually, not that bad. So 7.5 on looks. And then finally, box office power 2, almost negligible. Yeah, there we go. Next is Irfan Khan. Again, a great actor. So I've rated him 9. And he looks better than Nawazuddin, of course. So I've rated him 5 on looks. And finally, average on box office power, not that great. Next comes Salman Khan. Acting 6.5, and looks, he looks good, of course. He's Salman Khan. Like, once he used to be a synonym for good looks. Now not so much, but still I'll rate him 8. And star power, I think he has the highest, because if you look at Prem Ratan Dhanpayo and the business that the movie did, just mind-blowing. This would be Salman Khan. And last and also the least, Tushar Kapoor. Acting 2.5. Looks, yeah, 6.5. I mean, he's not ugly. He works out. So 6.5. And finally, box office power just 0.5. So these are 6 Bollywood personalities, okay? This is the trait approach. So we get each personality on these dimensions of traits. Now I'll tell you what the type approach is. You'll understand it right away. What type approach does is, they pick similarities within these traits. Within these dimensions, they pick similarities and they create types. So in this chart, can you see the types? Well, I'll mark them for you. This is the first type. Let me draw it for you. This is Salman and this is Amir. This type. Which is the next type? Let's draw that one. This is Nawaz. This is Irfan. The third type, this is Vivek, this is Tushar. These are the three types. This is the type approach. Now, what they'll do is, on the basis of the similarity in these trait dimensions, they will make these types and give them a name. So now let's give them a name. This is Amir and Salman. These are superstars. This is type number 1. Next we have Irfan and Nawaz. Now they'll give this type another name, real actors or true actors, anything. So this is the type number 2. And finally we have Vivek and Tushar. What's their type? The third type would be basically losers. That would be the third type. It starts from traits, but ultimately what's more important to the type approach is creating types. So next, this is the basic difference between trait and type approach. Traits just look at dimensions and stop there, and types, they want to create labels, types and names for similar traits. And one more difference, traits, as you can see, can be infinite. This scale can be extended another kilometer, but types by nature are limited in number. You cannot just create too many types. If you create too many types, it will lose its significance. You'll actually defeat the purpose. Sorry Vivek, Tushar and Harman, if you're listening to this, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm using your names only for educational purposes. You should actually feel good. This is what we ended up with, right? Now I'll discuss the trait approach in terms of our personality, okay? So here the traits were acting, looks and box office power. And for personality, what are the traits? So there are two major tests, so to say. The first test is the 16PF. 16PF stands for 16 personality factor, okay? Now this is the test. It was given by R.B. Cattell, and as the name suggests, this test gives 16 personality traits on which we measure our personality. What are those? I'll name them: warmth, reasoning, emotional stability, dominance, liveliness, rule consciousness, social boldness, sensitivity, vigilance, abstractedness, privateness, apprehension, openness to change, self-reliance, perfectionism, tension. So we used 3 for measuring a Bollywood personality. To measure our personality, Cattell used 16, okay, the ones that I just named. And another big test for measuring traits is the Big 5. Yeah, it's not entirely different from this. It's like the concise version of this one. Now the Big 5, they are measured by a test which is called Neo-Pi-R, 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 which was created by Costa and McRae. And in this test, they measure 5 personality traits, the Big 5. I'll name them. Actually, there's an acronym for this to remember it: OCEAN. Okay, so O is for openness to experience, C is for conscientiousness, E is for extraversion, A is for agreeableness, and finally N is for neuroticism. So these are the 5 big traits measured in the Neo-Pi-R test. So the basic idea behind these tests is, whether it's 16PF or Big 5, they are aiming to name all those traits which together give a holistic picture of our personality. That's the whole idea. We don't want to miss out on anything major in our personality. So the idea behind Big 5 is that these 5 traits are what basically are the building blocks of our personality. And the core assumption is, which I totally agree with, the core assumption is that all of these 5 traits in Big 5 and all of those 16 traits in 16PF, all those traits exist in all of us in different degrees. That's the core assumption. That's the core trait approach. Very smart. I love it. Now let's talk about types. So to measure or to identify the types, there is this one very popular test, you might have heard of it, MBTI, Myers and Briggs Type Indicator. Like I told you, even in this example, type approach is two-step based. First you identify the traits and then you give them types. So similarly, what MBTI does is it marks your personality on 4 dimensions. Okay, what are those dimensions? The first dimension is extraversion, introversion. That's like a continuum, okay? That's like a continuum. It's one dimension. Second dimension is sensing and intuition. Like these are like the two ends of a scale. The third dimension is thinking and feeling. One side is thinking, other is feeling. And the last dimension is judging and perceiving. Judging and perceiving. One thing good about MBTI is that there is no good and bad here. Judging is not necessarily better than perceiving. Thinking is not necessarily better than feeling. These are just 4 dimensions, okay, on which you mark your personality. Like we marked here, okay. We marked here on 3 dimensions. MBTI gives 4 dimensions. And finally, you come up with personality types. So here we came up with superstar. In MBTI you'll come up with ENTJ. Here we came up with real actors. In MBTI you can come up with INFP. I don't know. Here we came up with basically losers, which is actually inherently not good. This is specific to Bollywood personalities. In MBTI nothing is good or bad. There you can come up with anything, ESTP probably. There are other tests too, but MBTI is a popular one, and I think within the type approach it's the best one. Okay. Now MBTI is almost synonymous with the type approach. So discussing MBTI is almost same as discussing the type approach. That's what I'm saying. MBTI gives 16 personality types. I gave you 4 dimensions. Each has 2 ends. So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 16. MBTI gives 16 personality types. The idea behind personality is that the whole population on the planet, 7 billion people on earth, they can be divided in 16 broad categories based on these 4 dimensions. Okay, so do you see the difference between the trait and type approach? The trait is focused on an individual, like each individual has these traits in some or other degree. But in type approach they say this is the population and we have these types. We have 16 types. So there are probably 1 billion ENTJs and 500 million INTJs and etc. etc. So the whole population is divided into these personality types. That's the idea. I hope you understand the difference between the type and the trait approach. And now the question is, which is better? Which should you use? Well, without a shred of doubt, I will say that the trait approach is better. Why? That I'll cover in the next part. Yeah, adios.